are live at 1A Adekunle Fajuyi Way, GRA, Ikeja, for the project inauguration and alumni reunion of the National Broadcast Academy, the training arm of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. National Broadcast Academy, NBA, offers consistent, excellent professional broadcast training to generations of broadcasters from individual broadcast stations and allied organizations. A call blog is right here to bring you the details of today's event as it unfolds. I'm Olayinka Olorinshola. Please stay tuned.
The project's inauguration and alumni reunion of the National Broadcast Academy, training arm of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, was held on the NBA campus on December 9, 2022. The event witnessed the creme de la creme of the broadcast industry, the board of management, veteran broadcasters, and alumni of the prestigious Citadel of Learning. The event, which started with the recital of the opening prayer and the national and the pledge to our beloved nation, was coordinated by the Master of Ceremony.
To defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God.
The director of the National Broadcast Academy, Mr. Ike Okere, expressed his appreciation on behalf of the Academy to all invited guests and dignitaries present at the event.
My distinguished former bosses, and especially may I recognize Mrs. Boma Kalaiwo, former Director, Lagos Operations, and all distinguished guests. May I, on behalf of the entire management team of the National Broadcast Academy, welcome you all to today's event.
In his speech, Mr. Okeke provided the historical antecedent of the institution and the transformation that had taken place aimed at positioning the institution as a leader in the industry.
Beginning more than 60 years ago as a training arm of the then very nascent, very new Radio Nigeria, then known as the National Broadcasting Service, NBS, and finally becoming FRCN, Radio Nigeria, in 1978. This place was set up to train formally the first set of broadcast personnel for Nigeria and the entire West Africa region or sub-region. In its heydays, this place was host to many broadcast professionals, would-be professionals from across all of Africa. It was the place to be if you needed to become truly a broadcast professional, be it in broadcast engineering, which indeed was the very first department of the then FRCN training school, or be it in presentation, production, journalism, marketing, digital studio management, and ICT. But as has happened with many of our national institutions, we also fell on bad times. And the bad times appears to linger for too long.
The National Broadcast Academy would be dedicating its multipurpose hall and new digital studio in honor of two veteran broadcasters, the former Director General of the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation (NBC) and the former Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Dr. Christopher Kolade, and the late sports commentator, Mr. Ernest Okonkwo, in recognition of their meritorious contribution to the industry and national development.
Today we are going to be unveiling to you a lot of the results of that work, that creativity, those sleepless nights that have gone into what you will be seeing today. Much of what you will be seeing today includes this hall that you are in. We raised down this hall and rebuilt it from the scratch, expanded it to what it now is, and going to be our school hall, which will also be an event center that we can rent out to the public. And we decided that we were going to name it after the very venerable Dr. Christopher Kolade. We will be hearing his message in the course of this program. He is 90 years old and is unable to be here, but still very strong. I was with him a few days ago. And he has sent us a message, and we'll be playing his message in due course. We will also be seeing a brand new digital studio complex, which we have done at the back of this hall. We have a new library which we are working on, which is not ready yet for today, so we won't be showing you that yet. But we also have the brand new Alumni Liaison Office, which now brings me to why we're here today. We are here for a simple reason: to find a sustainable way to keep this venerable institution going.
Mr. Ike stated that the Academy's future is predicated on the five-pronged vision that will position the Academy as the foremost media training institution in Nigeria. Mr. Okere listed the five visions as upgrading facilities on campus, offering online courses, retraining of instructors, redevelopment of curriculum, and setting up a functional alumni association.
The result of our brainstorming is that the one way to keep it going is by bringing back and bringing together all our alumni. If we can bring our alumni together in a systemic and structured manner, this institution will never decay again. And that is why we decided that we would set up the Alumni Association, which we will inaugurate today. We will also elect executives for that association, a caretaker team, who will eventually conduct permanent elections after they have a constitution and all that later on. And we will inaugurate the Alumni Liaison Office. Now, the Alumni Liaison Office exists to be the coordinating hub of all the alumni activities going forward. From that office, the alumni ESCO and the staff in that office will help our graduates for internships, source for fellowships, locally and internationally, way source for scholarship opportunities, speaking engagements, media opportunities that exist, and give them adequate information regarding the school.
The CEO of Biscom TV, BC Olatilo, the chairman of the occasion, in his speech enjoined the broadcasters to continue to uphold the ethics and the standard of the profession offered. The profession should not lose the standards, he affirmed. They must also be able to analyze the needs of their audience, as this will enable them package their program to meet their needs. The caretaker committee of the alumni was set up with Mr. BC Olatilo as the chairman of the organizing committee for the NBA Reunion Alumni Association.
I have been trying to search the right words to thank the organizers, especially the man at the head, for inviting me for today. Because I've had so much to say about us. Wherever I go, you can begin to search it. I say so much about Radio Nigeria Broadcasting that there's nothing like it. And I know I must be speaking the minds of so many of us here. But today, as the keynote speaker, what I just wrote here is almost like you turned in with the speech you heard without us meeting at all. I said, Radio Nigeria Alumni Association, long overdue. About this time yesterday, I was at LASU, where I graduated. After how many years? I was 50 actually, I'm 70 now. Somebody said I was over syllable because there's nothing you wanted to be trained in broadcasting that you've not gone through the Radio Nigeria portals. I can say that proudly. So I was there, they were launching the Alumni Association to try and help project the institution forward. The new Vice Chancellor says she has the four goals to meet. Today's event, beyond the occasion of the commissioning of the infrastructural development projects already outlined in the program you all have, is to establish viable networks among Radio Nigeria products dating back many decades, to seek partnership support from alumni of Radio Nigeria. They are indefatigable alma mater. Now, for those of us who have passed through the great portals of Radio Nigeria, the best citadel of learning and training that can be delivered for all-round training in broadcasting, just about everything, we make bold to say that we've got the best in our lives. Now, Radio Nigeria still holds the ace as the incubator, where the very best in presentation of news, programs presentation, and sports presentation in the whole world.
As far as broadcasting is concerned, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. The principles and tenets that we have learned, that we have been taught over the years, have not changed. And as far as I'm concerned, if only we can make an effort to maintain those standards, because that's really what we're talking about here, standards. It's fine for us to be creative, it's fine for us to be innovative, it's fine for us to come up with new ways of doing things. I'm really not against that. But what I would say is that please let us be sure of the fundamentals first. Let us know what the standards are all about. And then, when we decide to be creative, if for any reason we make a mistake, it will not be said that we don't know what we're talking about. It will not be said that we do not know what the principles, the tenets, the foundation is.
Thereafter, the multipurpose hall and the new digital studio were inaugurated.
We're talking about a man who went through training here as far back as 1957. and has not stopped talking about broadcasting. He says, in fact, you need broadcasting in your life. I mean, he just said as much as that a while ago. We do this now in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Let's tear it off. Your hands together, Christopher Collade Hall, National Broadcast Academy. Nothing like this. This is the happiest day in our lives. Do you agree with me, ladies and gentlemen? That's a great man who brought most of us up, who encouraged us, who motivated us. May God bless you, my brother. You've done a very good thing, and we will not stop. The whole world is beginning to hear about this.
Ernest Okonkwo began his journey in broadcasting in 1957 when he joined the then Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC, as a program assistant before being trained at the Australian Broadcasting Commission between 1964 and 1965, where he served for 33 years. He was later made the head of outside broadcast at the corporation at what is today the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria.
I would say that it's a thing of pride to us. My dad was a patriot to the core, and this day I'm very delighted and honored to represent my family.
I will read what we have embedded in it. Ernest Okonkwo Digital Studios, National Broadcast Academy. If you want, I'd like you to please put your hands together for us. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Put your hands together for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. www.natba so and so.
Especially also Barrister Amaka Okonkwo, whose father is named here. This today is named after her father, the great Ernest Okonkwo. All right, so welcome to our live studio.
Beautiful immortalization.
Thank you. Thank you. We have the chairs and tables for students. There would be a whiteboard over here, up there. And eventually when we do have a smart TV, it will be there. But you can see we have a digital console here. That's a D75, I think. Yes. And what we now need are more computers and some better amplifiers than what we have now. But basically it is ready. It's a studio, quite ready. The motivation has been to produce a national academy that is world-class, internationally recognized, and is able to provide 21st century training for people who want to be in the broadcast media, people who want to excel in the broadcast media, people who want to be professionals in the broadcast media. And this is a national institution, the very first of its kind in the whole of the perhaps African region, African continent, and it is important not to allow national institutions die. And that is why we decided that we had to do something about it and to restore the lost glory of the National Broadcast Academy. The Alumni Association will be the hub for the coordination of efforts to reposition the National Broadcast Academy. The alumni of every school is vested in the growth, in the development, and in the sustainability of their alma mater.
I think it's important for young broadcasters to to understand that it is a profession that they need to approach with professionalism. I don't think it is something that should be an ad hoc approach. I don't think they should have a casual approach. I think they should be very professional about what they're doing, because hundreds and thousands of people are watching and listening all the time. And many of these people are actually looking up to them to show them the way, really, to teach them. So the way they comport themselves, the way they speak, the way they behave generally, you know, their life story, if you like, needs to be an example that can be emulated. It's very easy to find yourself in the limelight somehow, either on radio or online or on TV, but it's not quite so easy to conduct yourself in a way that is becoming of one that is professional, or one that considers himself or herself to be professional. So I think being professional, following the ethics of the profession, living a personal life that can be described as an example, I think those are things that I would want these young broadcasters to take away with them today.
A lot of professional courses that will make those aspiring to be broadcasters in the media industry to be good on their job, makes them to be very functional and very effective on the job, you know. So courses ranging from presentation, production, journalism, digital studio management, engineering, we mentioned marketing, media marketing, and I think one other one that has to do with ICT. Yep. This is very significant. In fact, I started it off when I was on the saddle, and we envisioned a situation whereby all students will be able to network among each other. They'll be able to do things for them, because we are in the age of networking and social media. So if alumni of this place cannot reach out to one another, then it will be too bad. So we floated it, we initiated it, and we did it in such a way that they will be able to use that platform to assist one another, you know, seeking jobs, reaching out to other people across the world, because there are some of the old students who have passed out from this place who are now captains of industries. People like Mr. John Momo, the owner of Channels Television, passed out from here. Frank Edoho of the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire fame, okay? Helen Paul was also an alumni. So many of them, so many. So we need a kind of a forum where they can come together, not only to assist themselves, but also to see if they can do something for their alma mater, right? So that's one of the principal objectives.
They are all about broadcasting. There are so many courses they offer in this school, like presentation, production, digital studio management, ICT, and so on and so forth. Today is the day that we are launching the Alumni. That is to reunion all of us that we have left together with the new one or the fresh one now.
The academy was established over 60 years ago, and for the purpose of training professional broadcasters and others that are interested in journalism or other things that have to do with the media. And for the past 60 years, just imagine the number of students, the products of the school. And that is why there is no media you get to today that will not see a product of this institution. That shows that it's a kind of great platform to reform, to re-engineer, to reconfigure, and to rebuild
Today is a wonderful day because this is a day we get to graduate, from different courses in the National Broadcast Academy, and it's a privilege, being here from start to finish has been a wonderful experience. Though of course we had some challenges, but along the way as expected, but we were able to scale through, and today we're celebrating that. And it's also amazing to have alumni, who have been here for years, from so many, batches, and and they're all coming here to celebrate with us, and that is just amazing. I can't wait to meet them.
It has been a wonderful time for me. It has been a lot of learning for me. This is something I've always wanted to do right from time, and I just thank God I was able to achieve this. Yes, from journalism class, I have learned how to write news, how to cover events, and everything that relates to journalism. Yes, and it's the basic course actually, but I've learned some things that I never knew at all. Then even though I'm not in the presentation department, I have learned how to pronounce words correctly. How Nigeria has bastardized English. Yeah, so I've learned and I've unlearned. I've learned and relearned some things that I have never thought that I was going to. Yeah. So the benefit of coming to this school, it's just to have a knowledge. For me, it's just to have a knowledge of broadcasting. As the institution says, National Broadcast Academy, all about broadcasting, presentation in different departments. Yeah. So this event basically is being put up for graduates of this set, and also creating an alumni session where different people from past sets way back will come together and come together and create a union to know each other one on one, and probably create opportunities for one another in the present.
I'm very, very excited to be one of the graduates today. Coming here, I had a mixed feelings. I didn't really know what actually I'm here for, but I knew I needed to be here. You understand? But when I came here, the things I saw here from the lecturers, mostly my HOD, Mrs. Aluka, and it was really challenging. I saw them and I look at them as my role models, the two of them most especially. And I'm happy I'm here because it changed everything about me presently. The confidence, the act of pronunciations, the act of using stress to pronounce the words accurately, to give the proper sound and meaning of that those words really made me excited. Apart from that, how should I put it? The structural formation, the professional communication, the way they communicate, the way they work with us generally. Man, it's something I'm like, wow.
It's been an adventure basically, from the beginning of the time from the beginning till right now. It's been an adventure, a learning experience. I got to meet some wonderful set of people. It's just been an adventure. It's a way for us to meet people that have been there before, that have done this thing that we're doing, Well, we should get to interact with them and get to know their experience and what they are up to right now, how NBA has benefited them, how they have, what's the benefit of everything that we are going through, or we have just, completed right now. How has it benefited them in their life situation?
I started broadcasting in 1975 in Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, without meaning to say anything below the belt. My rebroadcasting started from here. I titled it Radio Nigeria Alumni Association, long overdue. It means it was supposed to have been existing for a long time ago, because we'll get quite a lot of things in it. You heard what the director was saying, needing so many things. We can get that from many people. our friends, and all that. Government alone can't even do everything, not to talk of an organization like Radio Nigeria. So we can leverage on our relationships everywhere, even with the government, private concerns, corporate concerns, and all that. And you need to use your faces here, those that went through the portals of Radio Nigeria. And I'm proudly saying that everywhere. But for Radio Nigeria, I wouldn't have been where I am today. Because Radio Nigeria teaches you to know everything about broadcasting. You will read the news already for 22 years non-stop, over unbroken, 79 to 2009. I don't know, they say it's a rare privilege, and I'm happy about that. I did radio broadcasting, it's helping me now on my station. So if you watch what we're doing, you know that we are not lowering the gap at all, we're keeping it high. I want to congratulate the director for what he has done here. Naming something after Ernest Okonkwo, God of mercy. You just made my day with that. And of course, Dr. Christopher Kolade, who was speaking to us a while ago and remembers his first day in 1957 here. Wow. And he's saying you need broadcasting in your lives to make it straight. That's what he said. He said in everything he's done in his life, you all know, he said he brings broadcasting, the teachings he got in broadcasting, into everything he does. And they say, let me say this, I hope you will take it. He had said once, I'm quoting verbatim, that if he dies, he wants to be buried amongst broadcasters. That's what the man said. I'm talking about Sir Christopher Kolade. I mean, that's the first name in broadcasting. And what does that tell you guys?
And that's a wrap on today's event. It was indeed very eventful. Kindly ensure you follow us on all our social media platforms and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Olanyika Olorenshola. Thanks for watching.